How are we all doing, everyone? I hope you're keeping well out there. Oh, none of you, because no one is watching. But I know you'll all come along soon enough. It's a Sunday evening. We're relaxing here, as you do. And this is the first time I've been in the workshop since last Sunday. So no videos during the week, no workshop fun during the week. Time is tight, and it's going to get a lot tighter in the future. Instead of getting a bit freer and easier, unfortunately, we had hoped that time would stop being such an elusive little git, and we get more of it. But unfortunately, that is not the case. However, we'll party on. There's 40 years after joining in. Good evening, Radio Cruncher. How are you getting on? I was out having dinner today, so I didn't get to see any of your stuff. But I hope your live stream went well, as it usually does on a Sunday afternoon. You're getting well known for the old Sunday live streams. How long are you at that Sunday live stream crack now? You must be a good few years at it at this stage. I'm having a can of Guinness, and it's no substitute for the real thing out of the spout, but it's better than nothing. Dear oh dear. Oh no, feedback. I have the old phone going here as well, just so I can see what's going on. Off in the distance, like, you know. Well, I hope you're all keeping well out there. I wasn't actually going to do a live stream tonight, and that's why I didn't put any announcement during the week. Because I didn't know what time I was going to get back at from. We were out having a meal with friends of ours today. We were unsure. Things that have happened during the week. This week was an eventful week. In many ways. I met a vintage radio man during the week. And had a very interesting day out with him. And I went to see his collection in his house, and it was very interesting, and which is good. And then we found out the same day, that was on Monday, that our little dog, a 12-year-old Yorkshire Terrier, is now a diabetic. So we have to bang the stuff into her twice a day, and it has to be sort of 12 hours apart, more or less. She's on insulin now for the rest of her life. Although we were told that 12 is pretty good. The vet said that a lot of these little dogs become diabetics at around 8. So she's 12. So she's done fairly well. She's still a healthy, active little dog too. But we knew there was something wrong with her over the course of last weekend. She was drinking a lot of water and that. Mrs. Aljones brought her to the vet Monday morning. And that's what they told us. Other than that, life is good anyway. So that's it's been an eventful, interesting week. Who we got here in the chat? We got Great Runner is in. Hello, Great Runner. Welcome into the chat. Noel is in as well. How do you, Ojnodge? I thought you'd have forgotten us. Well, no, it was hit and miss, but we made it in the end. It'll be a short one tonight. We might give it till maybe 9:30 or that. What's it now? 25 to. As I say, I'm on the stuff out of the tin tonight. No substitute for what comes out of the spout. But sure, it's better than nothing. Jerry BVR. Jerry, were you in the chat before? I can't remember. If you were, forgive me. There's so many names come up and that I forget. I lose running myself at the time. I see we have an American amateur radio person here. K6YYL. Evening, everyone. Hello. What part of America are you from? I should know from the call sign, shouldn't I? Because I think it goes north, south, east, west with the KW or the other two. Anyway, I'm sure you'll fill me in. Last week. Come on, Jerry. All right. What's the story? Nothing else. That was enough excitement for us during the week. Southern California. Nice and warm down there. Southern California, yeah. Into surfboarding as well. I think they're into that kind of shit down there. I think the Beach Boys were from California as well. If you just joined the chat, please do give me a thumbs up. Helps inflate my ego, which is wonderful. I have such a wonderful ego. Yeah. So, amazing. We had Chris here, a friend of Shango66 is in the chat. Not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. So, it's amazing how we get out and about to all these different people. Here, live from the little shed. So life's good. Look at this. Roundy Rooney's always good for a thumb. Come on, Roundy. Welcome aboard the good ship. Yeah, very interesting. I'm swinging wildly on my little stool here, so keep myself going. Great to have so many popping in. Last minute, no notice video. As I was just saying at the start when nobody was watching, time is eluding me. So I haven't actually been in here since last Sunday. Well, I stuck my head in for a minute here and there, but I haven't actually been doing anything. I haven't had time. I'm not going to have time for a while. But even if I can do a bit of this. But I was going to try and do something moderately useful tonight. Because I can only sit here and swing around this chair so much and talk shit. So I have something to show you. We'll try and put electricity into it and see does it do anything. Oh yeah, I'll show it to you. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So now, as you're all aware, I don't really buy things. I get shit that people give me because I'm a tight arse. Well, I'm not really when it comes to some stuff, but I kind of have enough radios, so I don't really buy radios as such. Anyway, I was at a vintage show a couple of weeks ago in my Nalty, where they have steam trashing and shit like that. And I made two purchases while I was there. One being the sexy side lights for my tractor, which we discussed in a previous live stream. And the second big purchase, more than I would usually be willing to pay, for the total sum of €12. This Philips transistor radio. Now, this Philips transistor radio caught my eye. As I say, I don't usually buy these things because I have enough of them. They're multiplying actually. They're like gremlins. If you get them wet, I know, little radios pop out. Anyway, this caught my eye because it has long wave and medium wave, which is always a plus. But it also has something else. It has full FM band. 87.5 to 108 megahertz. Now, unusual for this time period. Usually the old FM phone stops at around the 100 mark. So when I seen that, I thought, we'll have a bit of that, right? So we'll have a little look at it and try and put electricity into it. Also, while I have the bench power supply on here, I might just try and power up my little side light here. See what she looks like. Don't short them out. Not nice. Cute little light off that. Wouldn't fall out with that. Now look at my minion. All I have to do now is drill holes in the wings and the tractor and fit them. But, I'll have to get a bit of white paint as well and give them a little spray first. Or finish them primer. Anyway, that's very off topic for this channel. Dave Brown is also in the chat. Yeah, it's a nice little thing. It isn't dead, so I thought we'll have a look at it. Now, it has various issues, but one of the things I did check before I purchased was, is the dial card intact? Because anything with a Philips badge on it and dial card usually means bad things. So this is going to be shit with this camera, but it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get overly technical either. It'll either work or it won't. So I use my great grandfather's knife, which says on it Great Western Railway Hotels. I don't know how he got that because he was in the Great Northern Railway. However, and you can see it's been sharpened to hell. A lovely little bow in the middle there. But what I find this excellent for is use as a podger. It's very good for changing screens on mobile phones. Just the right shape and the right sharpness and what have you. But it also doubles up as a handy little screwdriver. So we'll use that to undo the screws in the back. We'll have a squint inside. We'll just see if we can get any electricity into her. See what sort of noises it makes. Lovely stuff. Have a look on the back. Let's bang on some extra illuminations here for a second. Ooh, Jesus. Camera seems to cope quite well with the variations in light for being such a cheap thing. Someone has left the batteries in this at some stage, which is never good. So many of Clive's gang are here today before me. Yeah. So, someone's left the batteries in, and they've had a little leaky doodle. Unusual for the time, although I have a couple of Philips radios that take D cells as well. Generally, you'd be expecting a PP9 or some shit like that. Nice Mullard mustard caps. These are plus. Now, outside of transistors, AC. I wonder what transistors it's using in the old RF end of life. That looks like an AF127. Ah, yeah, it is. So, none of your tin whisker nonsense here. Oh no. I'll be expecting this to make some sort of noises when powered up. She also lost her screw off the handle, the original one. Someone stuck a little brass wood screw in there too at some stage. How am I looking for 10 quid though? Or €12? Alright, AF127s cost more than that. There's going to be, 4 of them in here. Well, at least 3 anyway. So they're sort of about £5-6 each on eBay now. So yeah, I think if she was just a scrapper, she'd be still worth our money. Right. So what'll we do? Should we power her up? Bench supply on. Current limited to something sensible, and then we'll turn the voltage down. All the way down. She's VHF. Where's the area? Or VHF? It's in the back. Well, that's an odd setup. Comes out the side, look. That's the VHF area. That's rather neat arrangement. Another plus is the aerial is in excellent condition. As we know, these are usually snapped and broken and shit. Right. Let's see where we're at. Alright lads, is anyone taking bets here? Will this thing work or will it not? You all make photo transistors out of these ones around you. These are AF127s. Then the TO3 cans. You're thinking of the earlier ones, the OC44s and whatnot. You can make OC71s. You can make photo transistors out of them, alright. Them ones. These are the ones after. Or the ones after it again. Because it was AF117s first and then AF127s. Anyway. Switched on. Right. Power her up. Is she gonna work or not? Oh, you have to stop using bad language because I have to press buttons to make your comments show. OC71 Germanium show, you'd find them alright. They might be a little bit noisy, but they're alright for what they are. I'd have them over AF117s and shit like that any day of the week. At least they work. Anyway, power is on. I'm going to slowly wind up the old electricity. Let's see what she does. 3 volts. No current being drawn. Six. 7. No current being drawn. I wonder if it would be a noisy switch. Oh. She wants. Oh, hold on a minute. I have to. 9 milliamps. She wants to live, lads. And of course, we have a lot of shit on here as well. I think it's woken up, lads.
Paddled hard with my arms, but could not regain the surface. Not a bad way to go in my favourite place in the world. I could no longer hold my breath. I sucked in water exactly as my feet touched the bottom. Old age is a series of retreats, and it seemed that swimming was another. 22nd of May. Charles Darwin delayed publishing The Origin of the Species for many years because of the effect it would have on his devout wife. It might have gone something like this. Darling, I have some bad news. God didn't create the world. It came about through natural selection. Don't be silly, Charles. I'm off to take communion. Do you really believe that that wafer is actually the flesh of Christ? Of course I do.
That's Radio 4. La medium wave. She's gone again. I wonder is that corrosion somewhere making a bad connection with the all the gas out of them leaky batteries sitting in it for a million years. Because I just noticed she's gone crackly, but the current has also dropped down to about 10 milliamps as well. You know what it is? I think it's the switch. When I turned it down and the switch got tapped, it started working again. I think it's the contacts on the switch, actually. Intermittent. Now. I wouldn't use WD-40 on it. That'd make an awful mess. We use a switch cleaner. Let's see, George Donaldson is in the chat. George Donaldson wants me to hit it with a big hammer. I don't know if that's the answer, George, but yeah, I've done that in the past too.
Change and criminalism because people. You're not going to kick a football. And the payback is in the April when I get the opportunity because I've stayed loyal to the cause. And obviously, again, come up against Germany in the semi-final. They're a pretty good team, that German team.
That sounds quite good. One thing I've noticed with Philips transistor radios is how sensitive they are. One thing Philips are very good at is getting their shit together right when it comes to coil winding and getting the highest Q possible out of ferrite rods and stuff like that. They always perform well. And they're never short again. Never. Good few Philips transistor radios of this ilk generation, and they all work very well.
And great players on the top of their game. We were unfortunate to come up against a fantastic German side. Once again,
Rowney Mooney was condemning AF transistor in a radio last week. And then it turned out to be the tuning condenser. 10 minutes in the old ultrasonic with some grease on there. Yeah, lovely. I'm a big fan of the old ultrasonic cleaning boxes. I recommend anyone that's into vintage radio to get one, even a cheap one. The one I use is nothing special at all. I've showed it in my other videos, but I'll give you lads at home a little look at it anyway. That's the little box there. That came into the TV shop. I don't know where it came from. It was in the TV shop. It might have been left in for repair. I don't know. It's a cheap enough job. It could have been a Lidl or Aldi or something. I'm not sure. But they work really good for the likes of that, cleaning variable capacitors. I use it a lot for cleaning knobs, especially the ones with the very fine grooves in them that the toothbrush doesn't really get into. 10 minutes in this with hot water, I'll clean most shit out. Actually, funny enough, I was talking to a gentleman on Monday. I was explaining, I was trying to visit a gentleman that collects radios on Monday. And he actually has one as well, and he puts the whole radio chassis into it with a couple of gallons of IPA. And they come out brand new. We've shown you a couple that he had done. He leaves them in there for an hour or two. He swears by it. And of course, with IPA, you're not going to damage any of the wine and stuff, but you're not going to have that damp issue. I was reading on one of the forums there during the week about someone who put a radio chassis into a dishwasher. Now, I would have serious concern with putting a whole radio chassis into a dishwasher. For one thing, the salt that you add into the dishwasher. I mean, if any of that gets in there, I mean, the radio might work now, but that won't work in 6 months. George uses it for cleaning piston crowns and stuff like that. Yeah, they're great for that kind of shit, alright. I'm not big on WD-40 either, or any of those spray things. They're alright, you know, at a pinch, but you know, when I'm putting stuff together, I always use a drop of oil. You know, the real light stuff, like 530 or something, is great. Put a few drops of that on a nut that's seized or something and leave it for a week. I'm also a great believer in heat for freeing out stuff as well. Yeah, I agree with desktop dishwasher, but I don't think this gentleman went out and bought a dishwasher especially. It sounded like he just fecked one in. Service all, yeah, I use Service all, Dave. I'm running low on it, and the last stuff I got off RS. And by the way, I think I figured out that Radionics aren't carrying Service all anymore, but they're carrying an exact same can with their own brand on it. And I've had a very close look at it, and I think it is Service all, but Service all are now putting the RS brand on it for RS. So I got this Amber Seal contact cleaner, and I've actually found that very good. Have that can. Bought that off Radionics last year. There's about half it left, but it's good shit. Only thing is this particular model of it doesn't have any lubricant in it, so it just cleans, it doesn't lubricate. But there's another one you can get as well. I know lads swear by Electrolube, or there's one really expensive one that they use. I think Radio Cruncher uses it. If he's still in the chat, you might tell me what it is. But it's like 60 quid a can or something. I think the BVWS sell it at a reduced rate to their members. And at the end of it, I mean, it's difficult for me to talk about one individual, but he's the one individual that probably, as I go around now, polarises the country. So, Mr. Price sells switch cleaner? I wasn't aware of that. Or you shouldn't. And I would just turn around and bear in mind, even people like Seb Coe are suggesting that I should have taken him. Now, if I suggested to Seb Coe that I run the 800 metres at the Olympics in Moscow as one of his teammates, he would be aghast that I would drop my standards to do that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, no, it's not cheap, George. Welcome into the chat, by the way. Deoxit, that's the shit. Is it? Yeah, I think it's Deoxit is the expensive stuff that they use. This radio sounds pretty good for what it is. When I put the squad on the paper at the FA, they looked at it. It's going quite nicely with all the electrical shit. But they knew full well that, and I knew full well that if I'm asked to do a job, I'll do it to the best of my ability. And reputations or who people are. Yeah, the Yanks look quite relevant. I like David. You know, I class him as a friend of mine. With us in 2010, he made his debut when I was in the team with him. Well, you heard him much, George Donaldson? Now, there's a problem with this, with the dial card. I was just more concerned that it wasn't snapped when I was buying it. But it's got 2 pointers that seem to work against one another this way and that way, which is rather interesting. I don't know if that's right or not right, but yeah, it seems to be. Right, let's see if we can hear that on VHF before I do without the door. Now, I know that the aerial is in the back, so I have to use myself as an aerial. Where is that? Let's see if we can figure this out now. Doing something on FM. It's working on FM too.
And we tell them what they have to do in exchange, what the conditions are for getting that money. So part of that is digitising and improving the public services.
A Dublin Northwest TD is calling on the government and the NTA to lift the 10-year age limit on taxi cabs. Paul McAuliffe says this would prevent many from leaving the industry as it's a burden to replace older cars. He says taxi drivers shouldn't have to operate at a loss due to the increase in fuel charges because of...
That's working rather well. For what it is, like, you know.
We are kicking off tonight's Sunday show with Adriana and that song is called Twin Flame. Hello, good evening. Big love to a press show and always holding things down with some huge tunes. For the last 2 hours, I'm with you because our Sunday night show. So we're looking to some of the best music released over the last few weeks. Coming up in tonight's show, we've got music from Calvin Harris, Bill and Ted, and DQ.
That's working quite well. Quite happy with that.
While playing that tune, and I'm not sure exactly how accurate the story, but the tune for sure is beautiful.
Right, we'll go with that. That's one that's certainly worth cleaning up. Definitely. George is getting loads of South American. Last night, what time of day was that, George? So band conditions aren't as bad as we're all led to believe this weather. By the way, does anyone recognise what model of Philips little radio this is? Just for the few experts that are watching. I suppose what I could do is take a photo or two of it and stick it into the old Google Suturtron. I don't see the little sticker that's usually in them telling you. It might have been in the battery case, which is seeing better days, so it's gone. So. Although here it says IER, that thing's not going to focus on that. IER 01743. What does that mean? It's an Irish radio then. Although for an Irish radio, in that time period, to have full VHF, I think might be a little bit unusual. Well, George, where's your white coat? I gave you a white coat, George, and I haven't seen you wearing it yet. You'll have to get it on you. I see White Sapphire is in the chat too. I hope you're keeping well. I really do. I know you've been having a few issues. You wrote to me, and so best wishes to you. A little issue here. I know I'm still live, okay, but the live chat on the computer screen here has stopped updating. I can still see it on the phone because I have it signed in on my normal YouTube account for watching shit on my phone, just as a kind of a backup for this. It lets me know that I know I'm still getting out if I can see it on that, but the chat has stopped on the computer, and it's asked me to do I want to reload the site, but I don't want to press that because it might stop play. It's really weird actually, because the counter has also stopped on the live stream at 32 minutes and 32 seconds, but I'm still live. That's weird. Anyway, we shall party on, because I know I'm still getting out. George Donaldson says he keeps his white coat for special purposes. Dave Brown says, testing 1, 2, 3. You keep testing, Dave, but don't do it too hard. You might hurt yourself. Yeah. Do I dare push the reload site button? I think that might be a bad idea. And the thing might drop. So we'll party on. I said I wasn't going to do this too long tonight anyway, so I won't. Anyway, rather interesting that the Philips transistor radio has worked so well. So I think we'll have further investigations with him. We'll tidy him up a bit. Having the full FM coverage, of course, makes it a sort of a more useful machine in this day and age. The back screws on him again. So yeah, no, he certainly worked a little bit of effort dickying up. I'm not a big fan of Philips as such, but I like their transistor radios. I don't like their valve radios all that much, especially the ones with the piano keys. I find them a load of shite, even though they work so well. Of course, now your old Soviet radio, which is guaranteed to work because it's built like a brick. Let's power him up for the crack because he's sitting there looking at me. This one I bought in a sort of a Eastern European antiques / nonsense shop in Dublin a couple of years ago. VEF 201. So that's the one for the home Soviet market. And I actually have the export one, the one that we'll be more familiar with in this part of the world. This is the export version, which the Astrad Auriga. As you can see, they're more or less the same, but they're not at the same time, because this one has more wave bands on it than that one. But other than that, they're more or less the same. A few little minor differences. The export one is probably a little bit snazzier. What's happening in the chat? Has this got plug-in transistors? No, I don't think it does. No, these don't. They're soldered in. These radios work well, but they're not trouble-free because the fingers on the band switches go noisy, which is a bit of an arse. Oh yeah, I could see if the live chat, top chat button works. That's right. And actually I was told to use the live chat last week instead of... Let's have a go. Because I was missing some messages. We're back in action. Okay. And life is good once more. Super. If you've just joined the chat, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Alright, I can see what's going on now. Very good. George Christophe is going to bring down the value of Selena radios next Sunday at Biggleswade. Don't do that, George. Don't do that. We've put our life savings into Selena radios. We were hedging our bets that they go up. If you flood the market, you're going to reduce that and so on and forth. I have enough of these two. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vega 215s and 1 Vega 212. And I think that is enough Soviet radios for any man. 18 thumbs up as we speak. That's 9 people. That's right. 20 now. Oh, we're up to 10 people, so I think I have 20 to get rid of. Jeez. You see, that's it. And I think, would I be right and say, George, you're of a similar age to myself. You're a little bit older than me, but let's just put ourselves in the ballpark of we're around the same, more or less. Did you go mad buying shit in your earlier years, and now you're looking around you going, we've too much shit? I think that's a realisation that a lot of people are coming to, especially the older fellas that are in their 70s and 80s. You're seeing on the British Vintage Wireless Society, George Donaldson scrapped a load of 40 channel score today. How wasn't that? And I gave you, George, I gave you top quality 40 channel score. AM only, FM only somewhat. But yeah, you're seeing that on the UK Vintage Radio Forum, where a lot of these old boys in their 70s and 80s are popping off now, unfortunately. But you know, they're leaving sort of 150, 200 pre-war radios behind them. Who the fuck wants 200 pre-war radios? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with them. There was a lovely Marconi come up for sale there during the week that I was very, very, very tempted to have a go at pre-war Glenarda staging it and all. Nice quality stuff. But you know, when the market gets flooded with such stuff, you know, there's a problem. Another haul he got. George is the CB man for sure. Should have banged them up on adverts, George. Someone would have bought them off you. Sadly, some of them will get and liquidate their collections themselves. That would be hard to pick up. Yeah, I think you made the Adams. I thought that was in shite. You must have put a bit of work into that, alright. Yeah, the collections are... There's problems coming down the tracks for an awful lot of these fellas, I'm afraid to say. And it's like a lot of things in life, of course. When I first started collecting shit years ago, in my late teens, I was all about saving stuff. You know, Jesus, we have to save these Delta Gun televisions, was my thing. 405 ones. This stuff has to be saved at all cost. But now, of course, when you get a bit older and you stop and you think around about what you're doing, you think, sure, no one gives a fuck. You know, I fall off my perch tomorrow and I leave 100 Delta Gun TVs behind me. They're not going to go on the skip. No one's going to want to know. So, you know, who are you saving them for or whatever? If there's one Delta Gun television in the Science Museum in London, isn't that enough? I don't know. My advice to people now, if they're getting into collecting radios or televisions or stamps or buses or trucks or whatever they're into to get their jollies off, will be just get your own bit of crack out of it and don't be thinking about anything else, you know? Because when you're gone, whoever's around is going to sell it, scrap it, throw it in the bin, you know? White Sapphire sold off our tractors many years ago. Well, not to bring up bad memories, but what tractors did you have that you sold? Yeah, exactly, Northern Rambler. Northern Rambler has it in a nutshell. By the way, I didn't reply to your email yet, and I meant to. Northern Rambler sent me service information for the JRC, which was gratefully received, by the way. Thanks very much. I did see a copy of the manual online. I downloaded it, but I believe the copy that you sent me was of a higher quality, so that's appreciated. I've run into one little trouble with the JRC, and that is the power switch on the power supply. The contacts welded shut on it, and it broke when I switched it. And it's sort of a half toggle, half rocker switch affair. But we'll come up with some sort of a solution to that. Other than that, I took the covers off, hoovered all the dust out of which there was quite an accumulation. But other than that, it appears to be working okay. So I'll be setting up a station in the near future with that. I want to get that working. It's a beautiful sound on the receiver, and the receive on it is excellent, especially on sideband. Jesus. JRC knew what they were at. Like, if a DM902 there doesn't come anywhere near it. What else have I got? Another amateur radio transceiver as well now. I can't even remember what it is. I have a couple of amateur radio transceivers, but the JRC knocks the bollocks out a lot of them. Who out there is going to have sliders for an ITT center or channel or volume buttons for a CNP 192, for example? You'll struggle to find something close online, yeah? Dennis, history matters. It matters so much more than you know. Look at the early electronics. Edwardian electronics was actually interesting, but for the wrong reasons. It's a time before we knew anything. Yeah, it is, Dennis, but to a point. Everything is to a point. George Mustafi is going to get Cody's to sort all these shit out for him. That's good thinking. Well, how much technology needs to be saved? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm an advocate for saving technology. Please don't misinterpret what I'm saying as I think that all this stuff should be scrapped. If I thought that, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. I'm all about trying to gather the history of all this together and the social aspect of it as well, and what have you. But, like, I've got, for example, 4 Bosch AA23s, 2 20 inches, a 22 inch, and a 26 inch. Now, when you try to explain the difference to a layman, the difference between a Thorn 3500 and a Bosch AA23, they look at you like you've got two heads, because to them, it's a wooden box with a tube and a couple of buttons on it. And they're the same. And, you know, if one example of those is said, that's, you know, an example of a television from the 1970s or whatever. And you can go on and on and on with various things. And you can say that, I agree. everything should be saved, or not everything, but examples of stuff should be saved for future posterity. But there isn't enough space for all this, and there isn't the interest in it that there should be. And new things come along, and and at the end of the day, television was made as a box in the corner to entertain you on Thursday night or Friday, Saturday night, and radio was to listen to the news on. The fact that this radio is slightly different to that radio, no one really cares. The normal Joe Soap doesn't care, and that's who you have to cater for, unfortunately. A David Brown 25, a 30-day or 990, a Super Crop Master, as well as a Fortune E27N Major and a Dexter. Ooh. I've sort of got a hankering for a Fortune, an E27 Major, funny enough. Yeah, I do. I had a Dexter. An original Dexter, not the new one, then Super Dexter, the old one. Didn't find it a great machine, to be honest with you. I've got 2000 now, and I've a Ferguson 20 as well, in a poor state of repair. George Donaldson has around 30 vintage hi-fis. Good man, George. That'll keep you busy, alright. We already have the deal in place, John Joe, just to give the wives the best possible money possible for the radios and test gear. Good. I like the sound of that. the crown, the beard, the good lady won't let you do. My good lady's not too keen on it either, but Roundy Mounty. I don't think I'm seeing all the messages or something here. There's a market for vintage hi-fi though. Much more so than radios. Yeah, there is. There is a market for vintage hi-fi, or a bit of hi-fi stuff here. Somewhere I'm going to move on soon enough, because I want to invest a bit of money into other stuff. So we'll be doing that. I covered a hi-fi machine there from Sansui a while ago, which I'll be liquidating in the future. And I should realise a few quid out of that. Hope so. You say hi-fi still is worth money and what have you, but there's some hi-fi stuff there on adverts and that, and it's not moving. Stuff that's priced reasonable, and I don't know, maybe the thing is changing again. Yeah, the Dexter's worse ones to start, alright. Well, funny enough, the same engine that's in the Dexter is in, the 35 and the 2000 out there and a lot of stuff. It's a Perkins P152, I think. I don't know whether the different manufacturers have different heads and shit on them to suit what they were doing with them, but they're the same Perkins engine. The 2000 out there starts first turn, boom, boom, straight up. I've never seen anything to start as handy as that. Unbelievable. And I remember my uncle had a 2000 years ago. First thing I ever drove, actually, when I was 10. And it was a bastard to start. That got the Bard Extra, even I can tell you. And that Braid X or Bard X or whatever you call it, the Easy Start, horrible shit. And what I do now when I go to anything like that that's hard to start, I get a blow lamp, bit of heat, do just as well. It doesn't do the damage. You hear them pinking on it, and you think the piston's going to come out through the side of the block at you. Sometimes it does. The main surround system in the living room is a nice Marantz amp. They're crazy. Yeah, the Marantz stuff is nice. Sanyo first gen CD player from '84, still going strong. Just needed a new belt a couple of years ago. Yeah, I gave a first generation CD player to my father-in-law a while ago. What the fuck name make was it now? Can't remember. It was a great big thing though. But quality gear. Hi-fi gear remains relevant, agree. Whereas radio and TV needs additional kit, modulators, converters. That's why, yeah, exactly. You need to be sort of, and you do find that people who haven't got a bog about television and they get a 405 line TV and they get all of the gear to go with it, they lose interest fairly quick, you know. And I've seen that happening where, you know, people have bought, like, you know, restored TV 22s now, but they lose interest pretty quick because there's so much crap that you have to plug in and switch on, and then they're not user friendly really, or overly reliable in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I don't know how well the vinyl revival is doing at the minute. I think it's died off a little bit, and I see cassette tapes are coming back into vogue, which were great. We used to go cider drinking years ago, and we used to have a radio with us. We'd make up tapes with, well, we listened to all sorts of shit, like ska music and Iron Maiden and metal and all sorts of stuff. But we'd make up tapes, bring the tapes in a little radio. And then, you know, they'd snap halfway through and you'd open it up and you'd tie a little knot in it, push her in, she'd go again. Great days, great days. George Donaldson has never had a turntable, not even when he was a little chiseler. My best hit score recently was an Amiga 600. That sounds like some sort of computer. I saw the power supply first, then saw the Amiga on top of the scrap. Good man. There's disadvantages that make me want to punch people when I hear them call a record player or turntable a vinyl player. Breaking piston rings, yeah, with the easy start, because if there's a lot of wear on the cylinder, the easy start gets down in between the rings, between the first and the second compression ring, and then it sort of explodes in between the rings, and unfriendly things happen to your cylinder walls and stuff. I've now seen easy start doing mad shit to engines over the years. It's not ideal. As I say, anyone that's using easy start here for starting engines, use a blow lamp the next time. And just for the crack, take me word for it. Right? If you take the hose off coming from the air filter to the manifold and stick your flame into the intake manifold and bang her over on the starter, she'll go for you. Long live the mixtape, now we're deadly. Right, I'll be back out to you in a second. I'm going to fill this up for 1 hour. And we'll go for another half hour or so. Alright? extra cowbells because you can never have enough cowbells, okay? A very big thanks to B4L who has just entered the chat. Fear not, B4L, I am here. There she is here. Now, yes, I was reading the chat offline. I have to keep an eye on this. And yeah, the DJs were told to talk over intros and shit and sing along a little bit with music and stuff to stop people from taping them. As you say, if you want the real thing, go out and buy it. Atlantic 252 was an absolute bastard for that. Because I used to tape music off Atlantic 252 when I was a little shizzler. And all them tapes are sadly gone now because I had loads of jingles and stuff as well, which would be interesting to listen to these days. Anyway, it was what it was. No, will there be no goats here? The old grey whistle test was just sublime magic. Agreed. Well, they were showing repeats of that on BBC 4 there a couple of years ago, which was quite interesting. Nice and late at night as well. Used to pour out in front of me old Thorn 3500 quite nicely. Ray Bourne is in the chat. Good man, Ray. How's she cutting? Good to have you in the gaff here. B4L funny times comments. Would you do a live and open the chat that we can jump on one of the days? I don't understand what you're asking. You can talk in the chat here. That's pretty much all you can do. Oh no, the earlier one, obviously. It sounds like... yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's do that once more for the crack. There you go, special effects. BBC, each your hair do. Oh yeah, I was going to power up this Soviet nonsense here. Good man, Jerry. How are you? Good to have you aboard. Always good to have Jerry O'Hara on board. I told a few of these, Jerry, to go and look at your channel. And I'm going to say it again to you. Go and look at Jerry's channel. Very, very interesting communications to savers. Don't have me tell you again. Jerry, you're doing lovely work, by the way. Jerry is an expert on Eddie Stone radios. And you heard it here first. Hold on. The Chipmunks comment was... he put a link to a video on YouTube, I think. All links are blocked. on my channel for my review, because there was so much IP grabbing, porn nonsense coming up on comments and stuff. So if you stick a link in one of my comments on a video or something, it could be a day or two before she shows up, because I have to okay it. Yeah, 31 Jerry's and George's watching. Well, mostly. There's a couple of white sapphires as well. Don't forget the odd or one or two Reyes and the odd Luke Davis. I'm assuming it's not possible to fix a leather tablet keyboard. It's glued, stitched shut. You are right. It is not possible, to my knowledge. I'm sure some lunatic out there with a sewing machine could have a go at it, but not I. I have a Microsoft Surface, and the keyboard went on that a while ago, which was rather expensive. Let's have a squinter at this and see what way she goes. Positive. Pulling down the voltage. What about 9 volts into this machine? Well, she'll probably work on it at 7.5 like she has there. Let's see, does this still work? Bloody switch. Oh. What I find with this is, and the other ones, the volume control, the pots on them are crap, and you spray them and they last for about 6 months, and then they go crackly again. However, these are never going to be a daily driver, so it's not a massive concern. We're on 41 meters for those of you. There's a bit of my speed on there now. You all know how much I like the traditional Chinese music on Radio Shortwave, on China International. Dial even works on this one, look. These are very sensitive. RF stage, and of course, well worth grabbing if you see one at a reasonable price. Don't go mad. Tell you what's going completely nuts later, and I'm sure Mr. O'Hara will agree with me if he's still here. The price of Eddystone EC10s, they're just gone nuts. Totally nuts. I was sort of going to buy one on eBay there a couple of weeks ago, and it was sort of sitting at around 30 quid, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll have that. Even with the import and the duty and the shit. Sort of. The fucking thing went for about 95 quid. Slow motion music. I know, I love that. Right. I used to have the Kenwood R600 up here, and I'd feed it into the workshop stereo system, which might even get approval from George Donaldson. I don't know. It's a NAD 7030. It's a reasonable thing. He uses 2 N3055s in the outputs, but she's 4-channel. So I've got 2 speakers up here and up here on the shelf, and 2 underneath. I've 2 Wharfdale Littons. They're a large bookcase speaker. 2 of them under, and then I've 2. What are the 2 speakers I have up here? They're fairly snazzy too, I think, in a relative way. They are JBLs, something or other. But it sounds very good. I'll give you a quick blast here just for you. so I used to feed the old traditional Chinese music into that from the R600. Sounds nice. You get this nice wall of sound effect here. It's nice. George, should I tell Jonjo to bring earmuffs down? I'll take a right board and uses a bit of steam behind his radio. Jerry sold all but 8 of his Eddistones. Still have a couple of EC10s. Good to know why. Good to know they're appreciating the value. Yeah, I mean, the way inflation is going and interest rates and savings accounts, it mightn't be a bad idea just to fill up your shed full of Eddystone EC10s. I shouldn't think so. Not for that. Well, Chipmunk, if you like Eddystone receivers, you need to have a look at Jerry O'Hara's channel. Because he has some very, very interesting ones and some very, very unusual ones. I'm going to say that was an Eddystone 840. And either an A or a C, or depending on if it was black or grey. I have a couple of them. There is a little tingle off them, and people lose their shit and say you shouldn't use them without an isolation transformer. Don't be worrying about it. Grey, Eddystone 840C. Yeah, that's what that was. Jerry, would you agree with my synopsis? Let's see what else is on our VEF 201. That's not bad receiving, little whip aerial on shortwave, you know, for what it is, when it was built, and all the rest.
You want to be the ones that make these things.
Yeah, that's exactly what you could do, alright. Ooh, we're down into 40 metres. That's that nonsense that George Donaldson is into, isn't it? Where are we now? 49. And this is the thing, the fingers are dirty in this. If you're not using them all the time. The 52 metre band with around 76 metres. It's all the metres on this as well. There's no no kilohertz at all on this. I don't use megahertz or kilohertz. Now, CD, which is medium wave.
Settling the red standing.
Chicken head knobs for the BFO, etc. Oh, that might do. Someone, yeah, sounds like they were replacements, alright. We won't play too much of Purple Rain. Prince's executives are very, need a few bob. They'll be on to me for a few quid. It's good old RTE radio on long wave. Yeah, the old flywheel tune and the Eddystones are quite tasty, alright. The only thing is, though, you have to remember to oil up the little points of contact and the little bush in the front every now and again, because when they get wear in them, they're affected. actually struggling a bit with all the switch mode nonsense in here. Actually coming in the 31 meter band.
Short wave and infrared thermal therapy, ultrasound. Road platform told us more. Pas à l'intérieur. C'est.
Anyway, as you can see, a rather sensitive little radio for what she is. Getting poisoned a bit by all the switch mode nonsense in here. It still works anyway. Rayborn says he's got a big shock for the neighbours tomorrow. Ray's after painting his gaff luminous orange or something now. They're piling up. As I have this one beside me, I may as well see if this one is still working as well. It's a while since he's seen the electricity too. Oh, that's not going to be as straightforward as the other one. Let's see how we approach this. There's a will, there's a way. No. Oh yeah, top tip. Anyone that has old radios, leave them switched on so that the crap doesn't build up on the faces of the contacts on the switches. It's RTA. This one doesn't sound as sensitive as she used to. Well, the voltage is a little bit low. Let's turn it up a bit. There we go. That's a bit better.
A baby giving her life, one of her Christmas messages. And I think it's very striking.
Medium wave.
Go to the Silver Commanders, and that will be passed down to the appropriate levels.
Rayborn has got new volume controls to go all the way up to 50. I need to get myself a few of them, right? Northern Rambler used a BBC microcomputer to decode RTTY. Is there any RTTY that you could decode like that now on shortwave? I know there's data shit all over the place, but yeah, I'd hear that alright, but I'm just wondering if it. What's it about if you decode it, you know?
With the new iPhone 14 Pro on Sky.
Blah blah blah. This one's a little bit down on gain compared to the other one. Probably wants all the caps and all down for. Nothing wrong with it on shortwave though. Because all the switch mode crap is probably faking up the AGC on it. We're on 41 meters here. Oh, top of the hour, that's the end of that. 10 o'clock.
China has released a batch of scientific research results from its Mars probe Tianwen-1 for the first time. Scientists have revealed the relationship between the formation of geological features and water activities on Mars. The results provide support for the hypothesis that there was once an ocean in the utopian Planitia. Sirens sounded and a bell tolled in the Chinese city of Shenyang on Sunday to mark the September 18th incident from 91 years ago when Japan started its invasion of China. On September the 18th, 1931, Japanese troops blew up a section of railway under their control near Shenyang and accused the Chinese troops of sabotage as a pretext for their subsequent aggression.
Dennis used a bad word in the shot. There you go, Dennis.
The incident triggered the start of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. Guanyang has more. Hundreds of people, officials from the central and provincial governments, representatives from the People's Liberation Army. This is a thing.
Oh, no. They know. Who else have we got in the chat here now? Are we any new people in the chat here now? If we do, don't be afraid to give us a shout out there. if you've just tuned in and you're wondering why I'm manically manhandling this radio, it's just we've been given a few old radios in the collection, a bit of a spin. Which is no harm now and again. Give them a little run. So this one I bought at the NVCF a few years ago. And as I said, the other one, the Russian one, for the home market, I bought here in Dublin. Dennis says, this is getting good. You'll have 50, then 100 regulars in a month or two. Need to get Clive to give me a promotion. Oh, I don't know about that. Clive loves technical people with beards. Well, Clive's going to be disappointed. John's a married man. George is off to bed. George, I'll talk to you in the near future. By the way, George, I'm not on the amateur radio at the minute, but I'll bang you now a message when I get the station up and running here, because I want to dig out off you for setting up me compression on that on the rig, and I want a sound report. So we might, if you're up for it, have a little bit of backwards and forwards on 80 meters some day during the day, just to I know what my sound is like in that. If you're about, don't give me call sign out in the air, Dennis. Sorry, it's going to have to remain a mystery for now. Yeah, so I'll get back to you. Maybe give me a shout on that, George. Anyway, have a good night. Clive loved technical people with beards, yeah. I used to have a I don't know what that is, mode on shortwave. It sounded lovely. I know. You're right, I'm sad. I don't know what that is, Northern Rambler. It's obviously some sort of data mode. Oh no, music. We can't listen to music. We're not allowed. Do I like to work on this one? Oh, it doesn't. Oh. The Russians use these really low power little bulbs. Let's see if she. Ah, doesn't that look lovely? Yeah. Doesn't that look just lovely? Super stylish. I actually had another one of these kicking around somewhere that I found recently. Well, someone else found and gave it to me. And I had been converted to AC use really, really dangerously with a little transformer in the back and that. It was in terrible condition. I don't know where it's gone though. She might be going into, I either scrapped it or I put it into storage. It's not in this shed anyway. But it was actually working.
As the Education Minister of the Republic of China in the late 1920s, before being appointed president of Peking University.
Kevy Wevy Woo. You know, I was just thinking about you earlier on, Kevy. Kev, I was thinking about you because I was reading the thread on the UK Vintage Radio Forum, of which we are about readers anyway. I'm not going to say I'm a big poster. You obviously give more into the chat. I'm more of a reader, but I do read the forum every day. But however, I'm digressing. You mentioned in the thread about reducing power consumption, or whatever the thread's called, that you use the old Quicko T12942, and you also said that you bought it because you seen it on my channel here first, and I find that great praise indeed from you, because I know you're a professional at this nonsense and use your soldering iron every day. And you said that you are very, very happy with it. And I've tried to get loads of people to buy these, and a lot of people won't listen to me. How good these little Heiko clones are for 20 quid on AliExpress. I've bought a couple, I've given them to friends as presents. Anyone I've given them to has been blown away with the quality. And mine is going very, very well, thank you very much. The only thing, I was just looking at it earlier on, the tip is starting to get a bit tired looking now. But we're down the road 3 years. Oh, well, Dennis missed what the iron was called, so we'll show Dennis. And this is, and you can still get these on AliExpress. Light. T12 942. This is just a soldering iron station. There's no power supply in it. There's a larger one with the power supply built in. The power supply is not great. So what I would recommend anyone to do, and what's recommended by anyone, that you buy the DC only. And I'm using a laptop power supply, and it's been working away here for 3 years. Yeah, the mains power supply in them in the AC version isn't great. They're a little bit longer. They're about that long. These are excellent. You want something that can stick out at least. They say on the back it says 16 to 24 volts. But actually on the board inside it says 12 to 28 volts or something like that. Realistically, for speed, for it to heat up quick, you want at least 18 volts. And I don't know if this is going to show up on this camera, because this camera isn't great. But there you can see on the front, the camera won't focus. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. Over here you've got duty cycle. Down here in the corner you've got internal temperature inside this, so you can see if something's going wrong, if that's going up way high. Seems to sit around 34, 30, never over 40. Here you have voltage, so it's telling me, it's got 18.6 volts going in there at the minute. This is your temperature, temperature of the probe, current temperature, and this is the set temperature here. And there's a little encoder here, so you can turn it up and down to turn the heat up and down. See, set the 410, set the whatever. You can set the duty cycle, you can set the rest time, you can set everything on it. Okay, there's a very varied menu, so you can set loads of stuff on it, sleep mode and all this, all sorts of crap. But basically, it's a wonderful, wonderful iron. So anyway, Kev, I know you had said on the forum a while ago that you were very happy with it, and you were still using the original tip. I'm using the original tip too, 3 years down the road. I got a load of different tips with it as well at the time. This tip is starting to get a bit tired. When you don't use a soldering iron for a while, it starts to corrode. That's what I'm getting into with this one. So tip will go in the bin soon. But no, I am really happy with that soldering iron. That is the best money I ever spent. And as I said, it was only 20 quid. There might be a little bit more now with inflation and nonsense, but well worth it. I have a spare one actually in the box still. I actually bought a second one for myself as a spare, just in case that one broke. And of course, you can also run it off batteries, 24 volts. So I did have cause to use it outside a while ago. Now this is a little bit overkill, but there's a 24 volt battery pack there. So yeah, it works out really well. So there's loads of videos online doing reviews and stuff. I think I made a little review at the time about it. Wasn't very good, but I just gave the ins and outs of how it works and that. And it's a wonderful soldering iron. Kev built his own power supply with a meanwhile 24 volt power supply from Radionics. Yeah, it's a little bit slow with the 18 volts. I think 20. When I work it off the battery, it's a lot quicker. 24. Chipmunk's still using his Henley Solon 15 watt here. Oh yeah, no, they're I actually have one of those, brand new in the box, and it's not even a box, it's a paper tunnel, cardboard tube, in the shed. I must bring it out actually and show it to you. 55 quid on Amazon. Feck that. Go on AliExpress and have a look and see what they are. There's no way are they that much on AliExpress, because I only bought one about a year ago. Yeah, the Henleys are nice machines. I tell you what I've got here. I wonder is it hanging up here though, or did I? This is one that came out with John's TV shop. Now, John had lots of different soldering irons over the years. And of course, he had moved on to the bench stuff by the time I started with him. But, of course, the thing about hanging up wires is they all fall down when you go to get something. So, this machine here, this is a pretty impressive soldering iron. I'll give you a look at this one. It's an Oryx. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. Oryx? Sorry, I'm looking at the screen instead of looking what I'm doing. And it's backwards on my monitor. Anyway, that's an Oryx. And it's an adjustable. It has an adjustable thermostat, and as you can see, it's set for, well, you won't be able to see it with the focus, but it's set for 340 volts. And that is a very snazzy 45 watt soldering iron. And I powered it up a while ago. It still works. Needless to say, I'd never go back to anything like this though, no matter how good it was after this little box here. I used the other ones, the ones with the yellow handle. Someone tell me what they're called. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But to be honest with you, Oryx, ORYX. Antex. I'm not very impressed with Antex's latest stuff. I found the tips are absolutely useless. I wouldn't be bothering my arse with an Antex. I had a nice little 25 watt Antex here. And I bought a new tip for it. Or I bought a pack of tips. 3. They come in a pack of 3. Stuck one on, burned out in about a week. So obviously the coating of tin that they're putting on them now is so thin. Chipmunk has to go using bad language once again, and then I have to come in and say, that's okay. Now, where are we in the chat? €31 on AliExpress, my quick check. I'm sure they're cheaper than that. Let me go on my AliExpress and say, although they may not be. I am, they might be more than that now. T12. Jesus, yeah, they are asking some mad money for some of them, alright. Obviously, they're so popular that they jacked up their price. That's nuts. I have one there for 25 plus the shipping for bastards. €22. There you go. There's one. $22.45 free shipping. It's not gonna, is it? It won't focus anyway. Yeah, you can see the price there just about. $22.45 free shipping. That'd be the one I'd be going with. Looks the exact same as my one actually. Yeah, it is. That's the exact same. T12-942. That's without the. Oh, don't tell me it comes without the. It's only the. Is that what that is? Is that what that is? It comes without the. It comes without the iron. Oh, turn that in here. No handle, no tip, no. Alright, sorry lads. Right. When I bought that first one, that was €19 with the tip. With a selection of tips and the handle. Alright, so maybe they're 30 quid now. Alright. Well, you're still getting a lot of bang for your buck for 30 quid now, to be fair. Oh no, I know you always have to be careful with AliExpress. Yeah, I know. I got stung once or twice in the early days. Not stung, but my own fault for not reading fully. So now I usually get more in depth with that before I push the buy button. I find AliExpress very good, I must say. I think for the price of stuff and what have you. Now, it's obviously gone up a bit since they started banging us for VAT and that, but I still find, remember the glory days of AliExpress when you were buying shit for 40 cents and all. Jeez, they were great days. I used to be buying shit for the crack, caps and all. You can still get deals. The price of the caps have sort of gone up to 40, 50 cent each. But sometimes you see new stores setting up on AliExpress and they sell the stuff a bit cheaper because they want to get the good reviews and that. So if you can be lucky if you shop around still. You can still get good bargains for stuff. I got a load of caps off a store that was only after opening a while ago for feck all, just because they wanted a 5-star review thing, Another thing about the Quicko is you can change the tips while they're still hot. So you can go from Valve Radio to SMD in a few seconds. Yeah, you can. Yeah, no, they're very handy. Well, actually, what I have, and what I might do is of a spare handle for that. So I might just put the new tip on the spare handle and you can just change the handles over. Because they just spin off, little plug on the front. There's also, I think there's a doofer for doing like switch mode or SMD stuff. That's like little tweezers doofer as well you can get to go on them. No, they're really good. They're really good. So yeah, I've been using that here since I started in this shed 4 years ago actually. One thing I should have done is I should have put a date on it when I bought it. I'd say I actually had that 4 years now. It's never missed a beat. I had great intentions of building it into a little die-cast box or something with a power, linear supply, 24-volt transformer, nice bit of smoothing feeding, and proper. But I cable tied it onto this little wooden box. I don't know what this was. This was a stand for something. There's a little bit of felt padding in it. It's a bit of. It's not oak. It's mahogany. And this was an aluminium welding rod that I curled up into a holder with a bit of screw stuff in it, and with intentions of making something more permanent, and I never did. So that's what that is. She is what she is. It's only temporary if it stops working. Exactly. That's exactly it. Right, lads, I'm going to. Seems since everyone's on having so much fun in the chat. For the sake of a couple of quid, I just buy the station. Couldn't be tie wrapping bits together, lad. Yeah. It's just they don't do a station. It's just that they do an AC version of that controller, but the power supply in the AC version is shit. Right, they blow up in your face and stuff. So you're better off where you can use a laptop power supply or something that you know is of good quality. There it is going into sleep now. Beeps at you as well. So that's what I go. The Quicko was a great job, Roundy. Get yourself a Quicko. You'll be very happy with it. Right, lads, I'm going to go in and get myself one more can. I did say I was going to knock off at 9:30. It's 10:25. I think I'm going to call it quits at 11 o'clock. So I'll be back in a minute. We'll have another little. I'll have another little drink. You can have another little yap with me, and then we'll pull the plug then at 11 o'clock. So you know. But yeah, all right. We'll be back in a minute. Loads of cowbells.
Prolific idea that he reign over the two.
See if there's any nice Chinese music for you.
Magistrate. The kitchen god was entrusted by the supreme.
For sure.
Devam birlikteliğimizde programımızda 3. kısmına geçiyor.
Now you heard the cowbell, so you know we're back. And as I say, 11 bells are going to knock this off because she'd be bedtime on that. Northern Rambler isn't keen on the Turkish music. I think it's Radio Turkey. You're not keen on that music, Northern Rambler. Come on. Don't be like that. And the cheap Chinese PSU designers don't bother much with art. No, they don't. And you often see on the cheap Chinese power supply boards where there's room for an RF choke, common mode choke, and there's just a little wire link where that should be. You know, it works without it. Exactly. Yeah. My sentiments exactly. Yeah. Now, since I'm trying out various transistor radios that I have here in the shop. Someone said. Let's see. Let's go back over the chat for the Big Clive School of Timekeeping. Obviously, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And lads, if you enjoy the channel, I must give the old YouTube spiel here. If you enjoy the channel, don't be afraid to tell your friends that, if you think they'd be interested in this nonsense, to swing in and have a little listen. So do share the channel to people who may be interested in it. Now, as I said, I like Chinese too, and I had Chinese yesterday as well. Funny enough. That was a Saturday night though. What have we got here? We have an Irish all transistor Philips radio from the 60s, and she's a model L3IF52T. And this is one I got a while ago, a good while ago. This is floating around a few years. So it'll be interesting to see if she still shoots. Now I better turn down the bench power supply first because it does not want 9 volts. It wants 6 volts. Doesn't sound great. Must have been a Capri farmer. Something's not right. What is it doing that? It's the motorbike out and taking a ton of current at the same time. Now she's alright. Or do we have a naughty transistor or something? This does have AF117s in it. We're going to leave him for the repair pile. That's a bit disappointing. That was working really well the last time we used it. AGC instability, it could be, but I mean, it's drawn 150 milliamps when it does it, which is a bit naughty. I think there could be whiskers, yeah, I don't know. Could be. What I should have done when I had the back of the last one, just cut the screen leads on all the AFs. Because they work alright. Output stage oscillation is what I'm, yeah, could be. Could be, it's going mad. Now, it could be that an electrolytic is a bit leaky. That would reform if I had brought it up a little bit slower on the supply. No, it was maxing out with that. Oh, it is a current limit on supply, if that's what you're asking. But, no, it was sort of, I was just looking at it and it was going around 140, 150 when I was doing it. And then when I stopped doing it, it was drawing a more reasonable, respectable, sort of 10, 15 milliamp. I mean, I'm not taking the back off it now. I'm not getting into it now. But it's a bit disappointing. That was working really well. Oh well. Not too funny. Here's everyone's favourite. Let's see if this will do it. I never even looked at this. I was given that a while ago by a friend of mine who clears out he clears out houses. And every once in a blue moon he'll tiddle along with something of moderate interest. And he gave me this a while ago, so we'll see if this works. These always work. These always work. To some fashion or other. Although them red and black Plessy electrolytics still be entertaining. She is a TR82, gents. Estate clearance is not really estate clearances as such. But yeah, sometimes after someone has died. She's a TR82C. Bush Ireland Limited. I don't think that means it was assembled here. I think, well, maybe they were assembling them. I'm not sure. But she's Bush Ireland. That's it. Yeah, if you can see it, Bush Ireland Limited, Whitehall, Dublin. So she's an Irish set. And that's one of the Plessy electrolytics I'm talking about, the red and black ones. Everyone knows them. What transistor? She has the old OC range of transistors in her. So we've no tin whiskers to be dealing with this machine. So what we'll do is we'll turn down the supply. We'll wind it up just not really slowly, but a little bit slowly. It gives the electrolytics just the, not the big mad shock that they get when you give her the old 9.5 volts off the bench supply. And we'll see does she want to work. I don't know what sort of money these are going for now. I know these were going for sort of respectable money at one stage. I think the interest has died off a little bit with the lack of shit to listen to on them. I see there's a couple of screws missing out of the chassis as well. Alright. And they're always filthy dirty when you get them too. The player specs on this isn't too bad, but sometimes they go cloudy. And there's nothing you can do about it. Let's wind her up. 3.5 volts and we're drawing 6 milliamps. 4.5 we're drawing 7. 5 we can hear RTE radio long wave on it. The MB60 mains version, that's the one with the valves in it. I think goes for more than the TR82. There's a few nice little variations on these as well. Some of them have VHF. There was one I missed out on a while ago at a respectable price, which was interesting on buying, which had a couple of shortwave band spreads on it. The repos of them now are going on the nostalgia market. The repos actually worked quite well. I had a couple of those over the years, but I had no real interest in them, so I always gave them away to people that were looking for a radio. They don't like being dropped now, they just fall to smash into 100 pieces. Oh yeah, you have to be careful what you're getting, alright. So that's 5.5 volts at 8 milliamps. 8 milliamps, I mean that's nothing. It's working, I was looking at Lidl here in Northern at the minute have DAB radios for sale. With a little 2.8 inch TFT LCD screen on the front that gives you a little picture of the radio station you're listening to all this. By the way, we don't have DAB here anymore, but they have FM as well. These little radios, but they hold 4 AA batteries in them. I was thinking to myself, they're going to last about 3 hours at most, right? Another thing, there's this thing, you stick a PP9 and this, and it'll last for about 6 months, continuous use. This thing's working out at 5.4 volts. Right, let's see. I'll turn her up. That's a 7 volts. 9 volts. 9 volts. Oh, we need to change that because I'm going to get hit with a copyright strike. I'll have to cut that out of the video afterwards. 9 volts and it's working perfectly. Just come on. I had a feeling it would. They usually do work. Radio 4 steam, and even with all these crap lights on and all. These are another machine with that big long ferrite rod radio that aren't short again. Now we're on medium wave.
Now, sometime between 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning with a bit of luck.
Yeah, no, Dad was pulled. There was a few pirates knocking around. I don't know. I don't have any Dad radios here, so I couldn't tell you if there's any pirates going on. I know there was a couple of Dad pirates down in Cork already kicking around. That's still the case or not, I'm not sure.
12 o'clock, and then again, pushing the gun carriage and taking through the
it's just working, lads. What do you do with that? Spray a bit of shit in the volume pot. Like, would you? Here's a question for you: would you bother? Hey, actually, I'm just looking at the chair. Dennis is causing terrible trouble in the chat. It's bad language. Wrote death to DAB, and that was held for review. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's actually pretty impressive to look at it. It's full of different sensible types, people having coffee together. Again, there's a real sense of camaraderie.
Would you bother changing the caps and all that kind of thing in a radio like this, or would you just play it as it is and wait? Like, obviously, it's not to cause any damage or not if something fails and it's really, catastrophic damage. I'd be inclined just to leave this as it is and not do anything at all with it. Clean it up, spray the controls and use it. Now maybe if you're going to sell it to someone you might feel a bit differently, but for my own personal use, I'd be inclined to just dicky this up a bit and
obviously Her Majesty she was a devout Christian, a devout Protestant lady, and we are going to see members of not just the normal representatives of the church, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Dean of Westminster. We knew that they would be there anyway, but we will see representatives from the churches to all forms.
Kevy Wevy Will thinks like Hodge Nodge. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You might think you're on it too, Kev. I have lots of radios with Plessy electrolytics and they just work. Bit different if it's valves, agree. As you can slowly cook the valves and you wouldn't know. Yeah, that's right, but transistor radio, what harm's going to happen? Would I really cause trouble? Dennis, you're a bit of a bollocks, but we're glad to have you on the ship all the same. Northern Rambler, depends how it sounds. The audio can sound nicer with new electrolytic caps fitted. Well, especially if it's if the speaker is coupled with like a 470 electrolytic or something. That's not the case here. It's transformer driven. Alright, I'm going to repair this radio right now. At least the people waiting tonight along the mall, it's not too cold. It's warm enough for September even. There we go. There she is. She's all repaired.
I could see the Spurs defenders were glad. Teams in France every year.
Oh, that's working really, really, really well.
Poor, aren't they? Well,
nice weather in Stafford.
No way of dressing up.
Yeah, it was nice here today. It was about
18 Champions League.
I think it got up to maybe 17 degrees.
Horrible record by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're talking,
yeah, it got down to about 6 here last night. It was cold enough.
France to have won the Champions
That's winter time, alright.
Even worse. It's a huge special occasion for their supporters, and the frustration we talked about earlier.
Really happy with this.
Igor Tudor, the coach, took off
Unbelievable.
Payet and took off Alexis Sanchez. But the boos that rained down
I think it wasn't just disappointment with the players.
Dark
It was
winter evenings for the DX. Yep,
with
absolutely.
the coach for not the team. And the closest they came to another goal was another Eintracht Frankfurt one. We had that Kamada one that was off, but it was very, very threatening on the break.
You can listen to Fight Live and Talk Sport all you want. No way, copyright problems
Match
there.
they won. Eintracht gave an absolutely terrific performance.
You know, when you think about it, like when was the last time this thing's seen power?
Did a little bit.
And it's just working.
And finally, and if I may, one more Spurs-related Champions League story. I love this. A 60-year-old Spurs fan had a 6-team accumulator going into these Champions League.
Oh, good man.
To predict the correct score. 5 of them he had right. The one that was missing was he had Rangers lose 3-0 to Napoli. And a 92nd minute goal by Tanguy Ndombele, of all people, meant that the gentleman won 250,000 of your English pounds.
Good
I
man.
look forward to interviewing it tomorrow on one of my other platforms, which I am doing.
Fair play to him.
He's a Spurs fan. Tanguy Ndombele, and yet Tanguy came through to him in the end. Came through for a quarter of a minute he won. Unbelievable. I tell you something, I just don't talk to him. It's
On the west side of the Dunwich Mountains. It's amazing to think that the Shenandoah National Park is just 75 miles from the bustle of Washington, D.C.
I'm happy with that. Bush TR82, see? Just works. No messing. They don't make them like they used to. It's after making a bit of a show of the Phillips there. Although I always liked Bush stuff, be it radios or televisions, of this generation. Because they're very simple. They don't try to do anything outstanding, you know. They're very simple. They were made with the serviceman in mind. And they do what they say in the tin. And be it radios or televisions, they always just work. Like the old Bush BS35, we've had quite a few through the shop over the years. Is there nothing else to show you now in the last 15 minutes? Just gone past a quarter. Let me have a look here, because I don't want to bore you either. I want to be doing stuff. Right, lads, I have something very special to show you, and I hope this is one I haven't looked at yet, and I have it sitting here for a long time. JJ says I'm good to the Bush sets, but they're good to me. Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. No, I like the old Bush radios a lot. Right. I'll just read Kevy Webby's message. Bought a Palm 720 Pi 123BQ. All original. That rings a bell with me. Why does that ring a bell with me? Is that the valve set? Oh, we actually could have a look at that too. I have one of those. Anyway, worked straight away. Had to scoop straw over. lovely. You're lucky the output transformer was alright. Oh, first generation transistor. My apologies. Okay. We have one of those here too. Not a 1, 2, 3. Something else similar. Anyway, I'll have to go find that. I don't think it's just sitting here in front of me. No, alright. Here's what I want to show you. And this radio, I've had quite a few of these from my hands over the years, although I hadn't had any in a long time because, as I say, I give stuff away and that. But this is a radio that I'm very fond of. And its derivatives, because it works really well. It's made very strongly, and what more can I say about it? Japanese reliability. And it's a Sanyo. Now, anyone recognise one of these? I had loads of these from my hands over the years. Various iterations of the same case. And believe it or not, if you go on AliExpress and look up retro radio, they're knocking out one of these with the same layout, dial and all. Now obviously it's probably some sort of crap, chip controlled nonsense, DSP or whatever. But these work really well. And I had one that was medium wave, long wave only. I had one that was FM medium wave only. I had one that had FM medium wave and short wave only. I had one that had FM and 2 short wave band spreads. And I had one that had FM medium wave and 2 long wave band spreads. All in the same case. And the case, it's like a triple deck construction. So there's the front cast plastic here. There's this bit, which is the main body. And then there's the back shell, right? So it's in 3 pieces instead of 2. Kev says they did a version with a cassette. Never seen that one. These were real common around Ireland. And all the different variations. I'm so sorry I don't have the rest of them. These are class radio. A really, really class radio. Going back to, the late 70s. I got this a long time ago. Someone gave this to me and it was rattling around on the floor of the van for ages. And then I went in underneath the seat. And it's only recently that I dug it out of the van and brought it into the house. But we'll see if this works. I think I know the answer. This is going to work. Sanyo is owned by Sony. I never knew that. Will it work? Will it not? Place your bets. Betting ends. She wants 4 AA batteries. She's not getting 4 AA batteries. She's getting the odd nudge bench power. So actually, no, we could bang 4 AA batteries into it, couldn't we? It would make life a bit easier. In a relative sense. I'm fine 4 AA batteries. There's 2. And here's 2. There's 4 AA batteries. So, is it going to work, lads? Now on by Panasonic. Does Panasonic still make stuff though? Rayborn says, what's the Sanyo? I was AFK for a few. What's AFK, man? You went to sleep? Little Sanyo review. Anyway, let's bang these batteries in and see what she does. Or doesn't do. Now, is it going to make a lawyer out of me, lads? Oh, I like that sound. Oh, yeah. Oh, feel the power. With its high-low tone button, volume and on-off integrated switch, tune-in LED, the Sanyo RP 7160 with integrated circuit technology is the latest in radio receiving personal entertainment. Whoa, that was long wave. I was getting loads of shit on long wave. It's a totally wave change switch, that's what it is. It seems to be intermodulation between medium wave and long wave. That might not be ideal. Well, maybe the wave change switch is a bit dirty. Yeah, maybe. It's not really doing much on there. Working on FM though, alright. Yeah, it's an electric fence nearby. Closest it gets is about 20 yards from the shed. It's fuck all I can do about it. It doesn't like being in here with all the switch mode power supply stuff, obviously. But I think if I had a bit of one else spray of shit on the wave change switch, it might be good to go. There's long wave. Radio 4. Radio RTA. Long wave, let's see. Medium wave's walking now too. All I wanted was some vigorous switching action. Right, that's another one. We didn't do too badly tonight. There was only one that really objected to wanting to work, and that was the Philips. The Philips radio objected to life, which was sad. But we did alright. Now we've got 3 minutes left. And I might see if I can show you something else. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work or not work with all the switch mode crap. But we'll give it a shot. Of course, you know what this is. It's a Pi jewel case. Let's see how well it copes. Well, it's on medium wave. It certainly picks up the computer anyway.
So this really is something.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a battery valve radio from 1950 Splash. 56, 57. So it's got 1.5 volt valve heaters, and I think the HT is around 90 volts. Or at least it's supposed to be. I can give you a quick squint inside. No, I'm wrong. I'm telling you, like, yeah, well, it does. There's 1.5 volt battery valve heaters in it, but they're wired in series, so it wants 7.5 volts. So what I've got is a little lithium-ion pack in here. I don't want to take the camera off its case, so I'll bring the radio to you. See, it's all wedged in there. The blue thing is two LM or two 18650s. And then there's a diode in series with them to drop it. And then the other thing is a pack of 9-volt batteries to make up the HT battery. And she works very well. It works surprisingly well, actually. It's very sensitive. Although it doesn't sound sensitive because it's quiet. But well, it's 90 on this. It's lower on some of them. I think some of the later ones were lower. I think some of the earlier ones were lower, actually. It works quite well. Except the volume control is a bit dicky on this one. I didn't get around to changing the pot on this yet. It has not responded to spraying it. As you can see, it's very sensitive. There's a loop antenna. And it seems to cope quite well with all the switch mode crap.
Coco is a successful chocolate brand that actually began.
Yeah, 7-pin valves, right? Oh yeah, Poundland's the only place to be going. The other thing I was thinking about, instead of 9-volt batteries like those, was the old lithium coin cells. You know, a stack of those in a little tube. Probably last a very long time. Of course, one thing eagle-eyed viewers will notice is how quick it comes on. Directly heated valves. You know, warm-up time is about half a second.
That's all that matters in the next round now. A bit more straightforward for
You can see the volume control isn't wonderful.
Park. That one was Adrian Eames. Shelburne are back in the semi-finals of the FAI Cup for the first time since 2012, and Damien Duff is now one match away from leading his team out at the Aviva Stadium. Jack Moylan, nurtured by Bose, but allowed.
No problem with it getting Radio 4. Right, that's it, lads. It's just gone over 11 o'clock. You need a long tube for a stack of lithium, for a lithium stack. I don't think you need that long a tube, though. I reckon, you know, because I have a stack in the Avo meter and it's about that length, so, well, you could have 2 stacks. I don't think it'll take up as much space as all them 9-volt batteries. And they're doing, you can get the lithium cells pretty cheap now too. It's just a thought anyway. Alright, lads. It's been an interesting evening. I've stayed on longer than I intended to. So, you know, I said it's 9:30. It's rolled after 11 o'clock, which was not my intention. But I want to thank everyone who tuned in this evening. Big shout out to Kev, by the way. It's good to have you on board, Kev. Thanks for tuning in, and everyone else. We've had a few different characters here tonight. Another couple of people from the US. We've had people from Australia. So it's been interesting. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. As I say, if you know anyone you think it'd be interested in watching my channel, give me a shout. I don't know if we're going to get a video out between now and next Sunday, or indeed if I'll be on next Sunday. I'll try and update you during the week on that. But other than that, what else can I say? Looking forward to Goblin and seeing anyone at Goblin that's going to Goblin. And right, thanks very much, lads, and I wish you all a good night, and don't work too hard during the week. Good luck for now, and bye bye.